Oh, look at all those eggs we got right there.
They look beautiful.
So these eggs that we're picking up right now, we're getting these out of our nesting boxes. And what we really like about these nesting boxes is that you can reach right in from behind, because we have this door on our coop right here that opens up, and we can easily get our eggs right out of the back of the coop. And you can also go inside the coop from the entrance right here. And you can get the eggs from the front. I'm going to show you how we make our own DIY nesting boxes. So this is the DIY nesting box that we use here on our farm. I'm going to show you how I put these together. It's really, really simple. I make these out of 1/2-inch plywood, and I put them together with simple finishing nails. Now, just to be a little funny, I've got a stuffed chicken here to make it look like we've actually got a chicken in here, but this is just exactly how a real chicken will sit in it. And also, we've got a little fake snake here, because in our chicken coops, we find these snakes in them all too often. So the first thing I did is I went and I bought 2 sheets of plywood, and I use 1/2-inch thick plywood because it's pretty sturdy and it's also pretty easy to work with. So it takes nails really well, it doesn't split, but let me show you how I do it to keep it from splitting even less. So first of all, I want to give you the dimensions of the bottom of our nesting boxes. So right here, the bottom of this nesting box is 12.5 inches by 11 inches. And I did that so they're just a little bit deeper than they are wide. And that works really well with the nesting pads that we use that we buy from Amazon. This is the bottom of it, and these are the sides. Obviously, you have to have 2 sides, with the front being shorter than the back. Now these sides measure out to being about 11.25 inches tall by 12.5 inches long. Now this angle right here on the front of this angle right here, this is a 45-degree angle that I cut using my miter saw. The very front of this, of the chicken laying box, is roughly 2 inches tall right here. Now putting this together, it's pretty simple. It's a lot easier if you have somebody else there with you to help hold it while you're doing it. But as you see, I can do it by myself. It just takes a little bit of finesse. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a bottom, and I'm gonna take one of these sides, and I'm gonna make sure I line it up on the right side, because it's easy to get it confused with the wrong side. So I'll line them up like that. Everything looks good. I'll pick it up, and I hold it even right there. Now you could get all fancy and use clamps and all that, but by the time you get all that set up, you could already be done putting this all together. I use a really small drill bit to drill my pilot hole. So by utilizing a pilot hole like that, you reduce the chance of the plywood splitting when you put a nail in. Now when I nail these together, I use 1.5-inch finishing nails. They're 4-penny nails. So I take the nail, you can see that right there. Just take the nail right there, put it in the hole, and nice and easily, I'll tap it in. Now, the very first nail that I put in, I leave it like that. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide this over ever so slightly, and I'm gonna take some wood glue. And I prefer to use Elmer's, but to be honest with you, it was the first one that I grabbed when I went to Lowe's. But here we'll go right down here, and you just put ever so slightly, just a little bit of wood glue, because the glue is actually what will hold this nesting box together. And I'll put this over, I'll hold it down, wipe a little of the excess glue off, and while I'm holding it, I'll take my drill again, put another pilot hole, I'll tap a nail in. Now, I like to put 3 across. It might be a little excessive, but it seems to work pretty well. Now, you might be laughing at the size of my hammer. Now, of course, when I'm doing big projects, I have a lot bigger hammer than this that I use. But for this project, because it's the small nails, I use this little teeny tiny hammer that I got. So, don't judge me, please. So now, we're gonna come over here and do the same thing on the other side. First thing I'm gonna do is drill a pilot hole again. Put a nail in. Move it over just a little bit. Add just a tiny bit of glue all along the edge. Pick it up, place it, wipe the little excess off. Drill another pilot hole. Once again, I'm doing 3 again on this side. And it's all together. So now we've got the bottom and our 2 sides. All right, so now we still need to put the piece in the front like that. And we need to put a piece across the top here and a piece across the back. So what I like to do is I like to flip it up just like this so it's nice and flat. And I like to put this piece on the front right here. I always just line it up, make sure it's perfect. Now, I just said perfect, but it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the beauty of this. The chickens don't care. I promise. They're still gonna lay eggs in these things. So what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of glue on it. Just a little bit. All along the edge. And I'll place this down. Just like so. Take my drill. Drill a little pilot hole. Come over here this side. Drill another little pilot hole. Put one right here in the middle. And this is going to hold it really, really good. Okay, now this is the very, very front of the nesting box. So the chicken is gonna come in right through this way. So now what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna come across the top right here. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on both parts of this, just like this. I'll place this right here. Drill 2 pilot holes. Now I'm gonna come over here and line this one up. Wipe the excess glue off, of course. Drill 2 pilot holes. there's the top. The very last piece goes along this back part right here. Once again, I'm gonna take my glue, put a little bit of glue on it. Just like that. Line it up. Wipe the extra glue off. Come here, put the first pilot hole right here in the center. That way it holds it in place while I put the other nails in. I gotta do 2 more pilot holes on each side. Now, I've got a completed nesting box. So what you do is you mount these right in your coop. And by the way it's designed, you could put 2x4s across the bottom, nice and flat, and lay it right on top of there and put screws through here and hold them in place. Also, because there's this little board in the back here, you can use this to secure it to the back of your chicken coop. I would recommend it because you never really know just how heavy a chicken is, that you put something underneath, at least the front of this, for support so it doesn't break off. But this works really, really well for us. We like it a lot, and it's been very productive here on our farm.